Alright, I've got a solo for you today from a Steely Dan classic, Josie. This is my tribute to the late great Walter Becker. I decided to do this after hearing about his passing yesterday. He will sorely be missed. For those of you who are not too familiar with Steely Dan, well, first of all, you should go out there and get some Steely Dan records and just listen. But for those of you who aren't too aware, Steely Dan was a great songwriting duo, that of Donald Fagen and Walter Becker. They met in college, and over the last, I don't know, how long has it been, 50 plus years, they've just wrote classic after classic. And they had this uncanny way of writing pop songs using chords and rhythm from, the jazz genre and the fusion genre. And after their first 3 albums, their MO changed and they became a studio band where those two wrote the songs and the arrangements, and then they hired a slew of the best session players to come in and play the parts. And that's another treat with all these Steely Dan songs, is you get to hear the best of the best. And most of the times these guys are taking a first take on the solos that you hear on the album, which is just incredible. Alright, but on this specific song from the album Asia, Josie, Walter Becker plays the solo on this one. And the solo is over the verse section, which is a 16-bar chord progression, and it's based out of E minor 7, and then it's got some Steely Dan chord changes in there. And the famous thing about Steely Dan is they'd often use slash chords. So for example, they would use a triad over a D bass. That's this example. And that gives you a major 9 chord with no third. So the triad over bass, or the slash chord, is something that crops up in Steely Dan music all the time. And in this particular song, you'll see that triad over bass, which is a major 9, no third chord. And you'll hear several of them shift through the song. But it's based around an E minor 7, as I said, and Becker bases his lines out of an E Dorian scale, but then he also throws in the major 7 in there a couple times, which comes from the Melodic Minor Scale. And then over those slash chords, the chord changes, he puts a C natural in there, which kind of goes back to the Aeolian scale. But all that theory aside, let's just take a look at this wonderful solo. One thing to say about it is, besides being very tasteful, he also uses a lot of rhythmic ideas and intervallic ideas. So let's break this down. So the solo starts on a B7, sharp 9, sharp 5 chord which takes us back to the E minor, so it's a 5-1. And over that B7, sharp 9, sharp 5, we start off with bending the 13th fret of the second string, or a C up a whole step to a D. Alright, and our first lick sounds like this. So we have 10 to 12 on the first string, and then on the 14th fret of the first string, we're going to bend it not quite a half a step, bring it back down, and then bend it a half a step. Then we have our 12th fret of the first string. Then 15th fret of the B string, second string, 12th fret of the first string, and then 12th fret of the second string. So that kind of looks like it's based out of the E minor pentatonic scale, but with an added ninth in there, bending up to our flat third. Alright, now I think rhythmically this is the trickiest part of the solo. So we have Alright, so here's where we have the rhythmic ideas and the intervallic ideas. So we start off with playing 15th fret of the second string to the 12th fret of the fourth string. So we have our flat 7 or minor 7 of the minor 7 chord, D, and it's an octave. And then we're going to play a C sharp. That's the 6th of an E minor 7 chord, and that gives us our Dorian sound. And then we're going to play the 13th fret of the 4th string, which is our D sharp, and that's from the E Melodic Minor Scale. So we have... And then we're going to play the 12th fret of the 3rd string to the 14th fret of the 4th string. And then the 14th fret of the 3rd string to the 15th fret of the 1st string, 12th fret of the 1st string, and 15th fret of the 2nd string. So you can see those notes out of the E minor pentatonic scale. Alright, so everything we have so far. Okay, so now we're going to play the 12th fret of the 1st string again, 15th fret of the 2nd string, and then just hit a dead note on the string. Then we have our C sharp, 14th fret of the 2nd string. Alright, now I like this part, and this really establishes the Dorian sound over this E minor 7. So we have our C sharp, the 14th fret of the 2nd string, 12th fret of the 1st string, 14th fret of the 3rd and 2nd string, 12th fret of the 2nd string, and 14th fret of the 4th string. Then we have this lick. Alright, so this comes with our chord, this comes over our chord changes part. So we have that A over D chord over a G over C. So we're taking this pentatonic shape. So we're starting on the 14th fret of the 4th string, then we have 12 to 14 on the 3rd string, bend that a whole step. Then 12 of the 1st string, and then 13. We're going to play a C natural here, so you can think of it as the E natural minor scale. And bend that 13th fret a whole step. I use my middle finger. And then it's kind of a slow, wide vibrato. And then we end that by playing the 14th fret of the 2nd string, 15th fret of the 1st string. So we have alright, now we have the 12th fret of the 1st string, then again followed by the 12th fret of the 2nd string. And so this is out of that E minor pentatonic shape. So we have alright, and there we play our D sharp again, and that's from the E Melodic Minor Scale, or you can just think of it as bending up to the root from a half step below. Alright, this is another intervallic lick, and this one's quite interesting. Starts on the 16th fret of the 3rd string, bend up a whole step, and then the 17th fret of the 1st string, then we have the 14th fret of the 3rd string, followed by the 17th fret of the 2nd string. Then we're going to bend the 14th fret of the 2nd string up a half step. So we're getting a D note. Then we have 14th fret of the 1st string followed by 12th fret of the 1st string. And then 15th fret of the 1st string. And then we bend our 17th fret up a whole, 17th fret of the 1st string up a whole step. Then we rest and we bend that up again, pull off to the 15th fret, and then play the 17th fret of the 2nd string. It's a nice bluesy lick. Alright, so we have alright, and to end the solo we have this lick. So that's bending the 14th fret of the 2nd string, or that's bending the 14th fret of the 1st string up a half step, releasing it, then bending it up a half step again, and then 12th fret of the 1st string, 15th fret of the 2nd string, 12th fret of the 1st string twice, alright, and then we have this little intervallic lick. So that's 14th fret of the 3rd string, 15th fret of the 2nd string, 12th fret of the 3rd string, then 12th fret of the 2nd string, 14th fret of the 4th string. And as you notice, all those notes are right there out of the E minor pentatonic scale. So it would be worth taking that E minor pentatonic scale and just coming up with different intervallic ideas that you might not normally take. Alright, so let's play the whole thing slowly. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and the music world is truly going to miss Walter Becker. Alright, I'll see you next time.